To begin our frame guide, we're going to start with two circles that are a radius of 1.13 inches, 1.175 inches. Let's begin. New, standard IPT, click Create. Start with a 2D sketch on my XY plane. I'm going to zoom all, and I'm going to start with a circle in my origin. This distance, if we take a look at, is specified as a radius, 1.13. However, I can only enter in a diameter, so I'm going to use my computer for this. 1.13, and then I'm going to multiply radius times 2. That's the shift key plus the 8. That gives me that asterisk. And then type 2 and press enter on the keyboard. I'm going to start with another circle from my origin when I get my green dot. This one here is 1.75 for a radius. So I'm going to enter in a diameter of 1.75 times, that's the asterisk, the shift key plus the number 8, 2, press return or enter on the keyboard. Zooming out, I'm going to need to take and sketch in with the line tool this shape here that's kind of in an L shape. So I'm going to use my line tool, start at my origin, come out here, make sure I have my straighten a snap, that's that gray box that pops up with the red and black line in it. Coming straight up, straighten a snap again. Come over to the left hand side with my straighten a snap, down, and over to the left again. Then I'm going to use my two tools up here, trim and extend, after I give this some basic dimensions. So I'm going to dimension this bottom line from the origin to the left hand side. This distance is 3.5 inches, green check mark. The width from here to the bottom is 0.63 inches, green check mark. And the width across here from the left hand side to the right hand side is also 0.63 inches, green check mark. Now in order for me to trim and extend, which are these two tools here, when I try to extend this bottom line, it's not going to let me do it. And when I try to trim, it's not going to let me do it to try and trim some of this out because I have these dimensions in here. So I'm going to press the escape key to let go of all my tools. I'm going to right click and I'm going to delete my dimensions that are on here. I'll have to put them back on a little bit later. And now I have my sketch I'm able to trim. So I'm going to trim and extend. Trim, extend first. We're going to extend this line out and click here again to extend that line out. Then I'm going to trim the bottom of my circle, the bottom of this circle, the inside area here, this little tag here, here, and here. And now I have my basic shape. Putting my dimensions back on. 1.13 is a radius, that's correct. 1.75 is a radius, that's correct. Going to dimension across here, 0.63 again, that's correct, just as I left it. My height here, I need to change to 2.25, 2¼ inches, green check mark. And I need my distance here to here. This is also 0.63, just as I left it. Green check mark. I also need a distance from this left hand side to my origin. This is 3.5, just as I left it. Green check mark. I'm going to finish my sketch. Go home. I'm going to extrude. And I'm going to take a look at my drawing. I'm going to extrude a distance of 2½ inches. So I'm going to extrude in direction number 2. Distance 2.5. Select OK. Next I'm going to take and put this shape here on the right hand side of my. To begin with that, I'm going to take a 2D sketch, place it here. I'm going to zoom all. I'm going to start with a circle. Make sure you're not locking onto one of these red lines that pops up. draw my circle. This circle is 0.63 inches. Press enter on the keyboard. I need to center this, so I'm going to go from the left-hand side to the center of my circle. Taking a look at my drawing, this distance is 1.25 inches and 0.75 inches down. So I'm going to enter in a distance here of 1.25, green check mark. And I'm going to go from the top of my shape to the center of my circle. This is 0.75, green check mark. Next, I'm going to take and draw a rectangle. I want to lock onto the quadrant of this circle here. Make sure it snaps to that quadrant here. I'm going to snap to my opposite side quadrant. And I'm going to bring that up. Make sure I'm touching my top black line. I didn't get that locked onto the quadrant, so I'm going to undo that. Try it again. Rectangle, lock onto the quadrant on the left-hand side, lock onto the quadrant on the right-hand side, and bring this up to the top black line. Now in order to trim, I need to take and delete these dimensions. So I'm going to press the escape key, right-click, delete, right-click, delete. I'll put these dimensions back on when we're done. Right-click, delete. I'm going to trim the top of this circle out and trim the bottom of the rectangle. And now I'm going to redimension. I'm going to dimension this circle here. Green check mark. I'm going to dimension going across from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Put this dimension up. I'm going to dimension from the left-hand side to the right-hand side of my shape. And I'm going to dimension my height from the top to the center of my circle. Now I'm going to take and finish sketch. I'm going to extrude this. However, I want to extrude at the distance that this is here, which is 0.63. I'm going to extrude, select my shape that I drew. I'm going to extrude to cut, and I'm going to extrude a distance of 0.63. Click OK. Next, I want to enter in and draw the hole that's on this left-hand side. But notice that the hole only goes through this portion here. It does not extend all the way across. It is a 0.38 hole diameter, 0.95 deep. Taking a 2D sketch, place it on your front view. Zoom all. I'm going to use my pan tool to get this in the center of my screen. I'm going to start with a circle. This has a diameter of 0.38. Press the enter key. And I need to dimension and locate this hole from the right-hand side to the center. This distance is 0.31, green check mark. And from the top to the center of this circle, it is 0.5. Green check mark. Taking a look at my drawing again, I extrude a distance, depth of 0.95. So I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to extrude this circle. When it turns pink, click it. I want to cut it using this button here, and I want to extrude it a distance of 0.94. Click OK. Next, I want to take and locate these two holes that are positioned on the top. They're 1.25 inches in from the right-hand side, and they are evenly spaced by using the overall dimension and driving your dimensions. So let's try that. I'm going to take a 2D sketch, place it on this surface here. Zoom all. I'm going to place my two circles. Actually, I'm going to place 2 points because we're going to drill those 2 holes. Place 2 points. I'm going to dimension from the left-hand side to this point. This is 1.25 inches, green check mark. And from the top to the point, this distance is the overall dimension. Press X. Let's delete this dimension here. Press escape. Right click, delete, we need to get our overall dimension first. So I'm going to get my overall dimension from this top edge to the bottom edge. It's a driven dimension, so I'm going to accept it. And then I need the dimension from the top to this first point. And here we're going to enter in our formula of the driven dimension. Click the 2.5 in parentheses. And I'm going to use the backslash symbol for divide, and I'm going to divide by 3. Green check mark. I'm going to do the same thing to this bottom one. I'm going to dimension from the right hand side to this point. This distance is 1.25. Green check mark. And then I'm going to drive a dimension from the bottom to this first point. Let me try that again. Press escape. I'm going to dimension from the point to my bottom line. Bring this dimension out. This dimension is going to be a driven dimension. I'm going to select my 2.5 that's in the parentheses. I'm going to backslash and divide by 3. Enter in that formula there. Green check mark. Now I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to select my hole tool, and let's see if I can rotate this so you can see the holes happening at the same time. Okay. Press escape to let go of my rectangle tool. Taking a look at my drawing, these holes, 2 holes, are 0.38 inches and they go all the way through. So I'm going to have my points highlight here when I click the hole tool. See how it picks up those points? I'm going to enter in a distance of 0.38, and I want them to have a termination distance of through all. Click OK. Go home. Your frame guide is done. Go up to the orange capital letter I. Go to Save As. And we're going to make sure we're in our H drive. First initial last name 000. We're going to enter in a title. Frame guide. Click Save. Congratulations, you are done with the frame guide.